Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I want to get right into this. This is a major big deal. So USDT, as in Tether, USDC, BTC, Ethereum, will those be excluded from MICA? Think about that. MICA is a big deal, right? So I think this is big. I also feel as though things like your X's, hbar will definitely stand out in that regard. We have some evidence to show with you guys with the research. We're going to simply jump into it. So first thing that's going to pop up on your screen, again, shout out to your brother Space Smoke. What does he have? Well, he recently posted this, and it's a huge, huge deal. For one, it's what you see in the visual. XDC XRP hbar equals MICA Crypto Alliance checkmark. Okay, so for one, when you get into this, it says, as MICA takes effect across Europe, which it is, this alliance brings together builders, institutions, and regulators to shape practical compliant frameworks for digital assets. XDC adds real-world lens working with institutions on blockchain use in high stakes, regulated environments like trade finance and real-world asset tokenization. This step reflects a broader commitment to transparency, compliance, and building trust in the spaces where it matters most. Again, never forget that when it comes to compliance, especially for Zinfin XDC, you already have that handshake, of course, with MICA, because they literally welcomed XDC network to the MICA Crypto Alliance. And so it's more like the other way around, right? MICA welcoming them. And of course, that was originally posted on May 8th. We're going to expand upon this and why it's a huge deal. So let's take it to the next part, and it's this. Now, for some people, they see this as doom and gloom. Okay, draw your own conclusion. But whatever the case be, USDC, that's Circle. USDT, that's Tether. So BTC, ETH will be excluded from MICA regulations. I'm going to come back in the frame for a moment.
If managing your crypto feels like solving a puzzle, it's time to switch to Decent Wallet. It's just a few taps. You can manage, track, and secure your crypto with unmatched ease. And here's the best part. Grab your Decent Wallet at a discounted price by using the referral link below. Don't miss out on making your crypto experience smoother and more secure.
Because let's have some real talk. I have stated this, and I point this out with numerous deep dive collaborations or even on my own. And it's the whole notion that we see what's on the table. We have already seen Ripple pitch to Circle trying to buy them out, basically. Now, that didn't happen. And basically speaking, you got to keep in mind that while it didn't happen, well, they could still try to negotiate. Do they win the whole thing with USDC? That's speculative. But if they were to win that, that's 23% of the overall stablecoin market with USDC. I point out with a collaboration with Rue Black that I felt as though that it would be inevitable that they would probably try to go after Tether. Again, we're not even at the part with USDC. Hear me out on this also. We know with RLUSD, you already do have that MICA compliance. Ripple solves the problem for Tether. A lot of people point out the whole thing, obviously, that Tether could be the next Black Swan event. I'm not saying it is. I hope it's not, because let's face it, they have 35,000 pairings with various other coins and tokens out there. But it's, again, interesting to get into it. So pull this back up on your screen. Smoke points this out. He says it's all documented. Well, he always brings the receipts. So let's pull this up. And as we do so, it's literally taken from the citation over at FHC, Implications of MICA for the EU crypto market. Of course, that was 2024 PDF. But man, oh man, think about this for a second. Which companies are likely to face more risk because of MICA? Again, people will say it's Tether. But whatever the case be, look what it says here. Since USDC and USDT, let me highlight it just a little bit bigger, are no longer pegged to the US dollar and their value is supported by other assets as well, technically, they do not meet the definition of an e-money token under MICA. Now, this is not me trying to create FUD. I'm just trying to bring you guys some interesting topics, to say the least. I honestly think when comparing USDC to USDT, there's not much of a comparison. Like I honestly think USDC is more safeguarded, especially with the whole thing with Stellar. But again, that's interesting to not see them on the whole thing of meeting that definition of quote unquote e-money under MICA, because we know where we're going with regulations coming up here soon. The other part I want to jump into is on the next page. Let's pull this up as well. And what you see here is implications of MICA for the EU market and what types of crypto assets are not subject to MICA's regulatory oversight. This comes from FinTech Harbor Consulting, if you're wanting to nerd it out. In the highlight, even from here, what do you also see? Well, remember how we talked about BTC and ETH? So BTC and ETH should generally be classified as crypto assets because they do not meet the definition of e-money tokens, asset reference, or utility tokens. Now, I know how it goes when it comes to this, guys. And that is basically, some of you guys feel as though that when we mention some of these things, it's like, interesting that both Ripple and Quant Network on their site literally have classified them as not even being cryptocurrencies. Is this why? That's the topic of today's discussion with our panel of Jesse over at Apex Crypto Consulting and the one and only King Channing, who we follow at King Channing on YouTube. Let's get into the discussion and why it matters to you.
Listen. I literally just did a video this week, and it was coming from the Qatar Economic Forum, and it was the CEO of the Qatar Financial Center. He literally said it. He said, crypto is bad. We don't do that. It's heavily regulated in our country, but distributed ledger technology, tokenization, utility tokens, security tokens. Yes, we operate in all of those realms. They're literally getting ready to separate the two. You will have the distributed ledger technology asset sector and all of the true companies that are associated with that sector that falls up under the jurisdiction and regulations over here. You're going to have your crypto market, things that are your memes, all these other things are OPEC that, no shout out Ethereum, but, or Bitcoin, but things that literally operate in this realm over here of speculation, hype, but no real intrinsic value. I'm not saying that Bitcoin and Ethereum doesn't, but just follow me out on this. So with that being said, this just gets right in alignment with what Qatar has going on with putting the real companies of Web3 with real regulatory compliance in alignment with the jurisdiction that it's sitting in. The same thing is happening right now. I want to say French Hill just announced today the market structure regulation coming out of the Senate here in America, and that's a part of it. It's the distinction between distributed ledger and crypto. Like, people need to really wake up and realize what's truly happening. And if you are coupling yourselves with these true Web3 products, your hbar, your XLM, your XRPs, your quants, things that truly are working alongside of the regulators, helping to build out regulation and then ensuring that the product is regulated, you can't help but win off the backs of these people. But go ahead, brother. I kick it over to you.
Yeah, oh man, I don't know. It's they're not, they can't do anything that's gonna like hurt the industry too much.
Absolutely.
They want it to flourish. So I think there are some things in this document that might be not scare tactics, but might be interpreted as something that's a bit scary or would be negative. I find, how do I say that? What's the word I'm looking for here? I think the document might be portraying more concern than there actually is, though. I mean, it's not like Bitcoin, like USDC is not going to go anywhere. I can't see that. Like, and Ethereum either. Bitcoin for me, I just see it more as a store of value. Yeah, I don't even know what to make up of this document. And I do believe that all the countries and geographic, like regional regions, are going to follow similar rules to MICA, because I think like these, and I might be wrong here, but I think like these rules are coming from generally the Financial Stability Board. Like, it's coming high up there, because I saw a guy coming from the FSB one time said, we already know what the rules are going to be. we're going to pretty much follow what MICA is. So, you know, I think this whole idea, like, we don't know regulations at all. We don't know what's going to be, like, this whole narrative last 2-3 years. Like, are we going to have regulations? Is crypto ever going to be fully accepted? I'm not convinced. Like, I think that narrative's just to scare people. They already know what it's going to be, but I don't think they're, and I might be wrong, but I don't, there's too much, they can't, it's very hard to regulate, right? Because some of them have a bit of utility, some of them have a lot of utility. I'm just glad I'm not the one regulating it. That's all I can say.
I'm actually
just
joining the
grateful.
conversation about this real quick. And shocking, right? Like you usually let you guys two go. Sorry,
Go ahead,
getting into
brother.
your-
Come on.
So listen, I actually want to discuss this with you guys. So I'm first going to pick Jesse's brain on this, and then I definitely want to get your take on this, and I'll just kick it to you guys, kind of leave it out there. So who do we know who has said in the past, and he's famous for this, right? Brad Garlinghouse. He says that 99% of all crypto is going to go away. To me, it's like, is it because of MICA? I think that might be the smoking gun. And I know, for again, I'm not trying to scare people with this, but this is why I put so much emphasis on this channel. You know, my channel. I know you guys too, right? Like even Jesse and I were in alignment. We both have QNT and XRP tied for number one. Channing, for the most part, you know, QNT, you're number one. I know your number two is hbar hbar, which is awesome. I definitely have that near my top 5. But again, it's like, yeah, this is why we put so much emphasis on the ISO 222 compliant cryptocurrencies and so on, because you see in the documentation what's from MICA, especially MICA. It'd be one thing, Jesse, right, if it came from like another source or like just some regular, nothing against the Crypto Basic, right? Like Crypto Basic says this, or Raul Paul says this. Okay, they can say a lot of things. We can say a lot of things. But if moving forward, MICA is your key thing for obviously regulations because of standards, and we redone all these testing phases. Obviously, they're a big deal because it's compliancy, right? Hence why I point out the whole thing of RLUSD. You know, Tether moving forward, they have that MICA problem. I had no idea that maybe USDC has that problem. I'm leaning more towards Tether has that problem compared to USDC. Coming in alignment with you guys, especially you, Jesse, with what you said, like I think they're going to be good. But again, back to the whole Tether thing. So let's focus on Tether, because if that's the case, it's like, okay, that's going to be a big problem, because pairings obviously are the key enablers, right? Especially when it comes to volume and all these key things moving forward. So again, 35,000 pairings with not just, I mean, gosh, guys, go to USDT's page right now. 35,000 pairings, to at least like 35,000 pages. That's actually more than 35,000 pairings. It's 35,000 pages. If Tether goes away, I shouldn't say goes away, but are found to not being compliant, and that would be the worst, the most horrible thing that could possibly happen. So again, back to these statements, whether it's Ripple or again from the Quant Network, again, you guys can look into it. It literally says that they don't consider themselves cryptocurrencies. And again, back to Brad Garlinghouse. I know I kind of repeating what I just said, but to me, geez, you know, we can never pinpoint it before where they're referencing this. And then you see, again, MICA points out XDC. Again, MICA points out Ripple. And we'll get into a little bit more about this Ripple part in a bit. But I just want to throw in my little 2 cents about that. By all means, continue. I definitely want to get more of your own takeaway about this, you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, well, for Brad Garlinghouse, I know he said that, and it's true. Like now, the statement would make sense, especially that we have like millions and millions and millions of meme coins launching on Solana like almost every day, and like 97% of them are like rug pulled within a few minutes. So I mean, 99% would make sense. So if you have, let's say 50,000, let's say you have 20,000 legit blockchain projects actually trying out, 99% is 1% of that is technically you would have 200 blockchains left that actually doing something. So I don't know if his statement was accurate when he says 99%. So I would say maybe 98, 97, 96% or whatever. Some things that he says I do take with a grain of salt sometimes, because he's just anyways. Like I'm a strong believer in the XRP ledger and the volume that's going to go through it. But the Ripple team itself, because I know who they're working for, and the agenda. Like there's some things I'm like for example, David Schwartz, like the documents there, like he's the Bitcoin patent holder. Did he ever tell us that? No. Did he go like it's so they're anyway? So I don't trust them 100% entirely just because of who they're working for and anyways, but yeah, no, it's and USDC, like I know there's like thousands and thousands of pairs, like probably maybe a million pairs, but 90 probably, I'm not sure, but maybe like 95% of those pairs are like these meme coins, like worthless, you know, like worth $100, $200 market cap, $500, $1,000 market cap. Like I said, because just Solana alone is launching like millions per day or millions per month, right? So even though it has a shitload of pairs, probably the only top 100 pairs on USDT are relevant. The other one is just like it's there on the list just because there's actually a small liquidity pool of maybe $500, $1,000, or whatever it is, right? Junk tokens. So I just don't, and I may be wrong here. I just don't think that they would like rug pull USD, say okay, shut it down, and crash the market. Unless they can benefit from it, of course. As long as they come in, scoop everything, like they'll let it crash a bit if it benefits them in some way. You're muted, buddy. You're muted, buddy.
USDC is that stablecoin that was talked about on EBA's 2024 stage. USDC is compliant, and I believe they're going to be what they're going to be. Like I've said before in regards to Tether. Tether may keep the same exact market share that it has right now. But the question is, once the institutional money starts to flow through the network, who they choose to go with, and then it's going to eclipse their market cap. So USDC, or was it USD? It's one of the ones that's coming from America. I did a video about it, and so is Maximus as well. People don't realize, but they're gonna be very, very major as well. It's a stable coin, American stable coin, as a matter of fact. That's tied to the DTCC as well. But anyway, that's what's going to happen. You're going to have these major institutional players coming in, and they're going to opt to go with your circles and maybe your Ripple, or if the central banks have a digital currency, whatever the case may be, which is going to grow the stablecoin market cap, but it's also going to lessen and lessen and lessen the market share that USDT has if it cannot become MICA compliant and the US regulation compliant and the UK regulation compliant, so forth and so forth across the world. You know what I'm saying? Especially if they're mirroring their compliancy after MICA's structure.
They have to, in my opinion, because this is an international relationship, right?
Absolutely.
Like we're trying to remove the cross-border. We're trying to remove the borders for this globalization. We're not trying to create more borders. That's
Absolutely.
the whole point of blockchain in the first place. We can trust. We can remove all the borders. So for them to have completely different rules in different jurisdictions, to me,
it wouldn't make sense.
Doesn't make sense
it
at
would
all.
Go against the standard.
Yeah,
that's why they have a standard.
Yeah, and that's why that document, I didn't feel, where he mentioned like, oh, like USDC might not even meet the guidelines or the regulations. I'm like, nah, it's a bit of like, that's why I didn't put too much weight on some of those phrases. This is a consulting company there, so I was like, yeah, like you said, USDC is not going anywhere. Like it's not like, no, I'm sorry. I'm not.
It's like I said before, as long as these players are regulatory compliant and they follow the rules that's laid out within whatever jurisdictions and borders that these companies are residing in.
Exactly. Yeah, because some people are like, oh, well, Quant's not even compliant to US. It's a security. I said, listen, you don't know the rules. You don't know how it works. Quant was not created in the US. Quant was created in a completely different country, and they're fully regulated. It's a utility token. So it doesn't matter what the US says and what Colombia says and what Panama said. Like, it doesn't matter at all. You don't understand how regulations work. It's not how it works. It's which country was it created in?
Yep. And is it abiding to those regulatory regime and rules?
Exactly.
Absolutely.
When people tell me, oh, Quant's a security. No, you're lacking knowledge there.
Exactly.
Respectfully,
I won't go into all of that. Yeah. But it is a utility token that and they've made that abundantly clear on multiple different occasions, both verbally and in writing. So,
they're guiding the central banks and the global regulators on how to do regulations. I'm pretty sure they're going to be regulated properly. And
exactly, they have, because they have a seat with the regulators writing out the regulation.
Gilbert
So-
Verdine was actually a buyer for the government. I think it was the UK government. He was literally a bidder for the RTGS system. Imagine this. A lot of people don't realize this. The real-time gross settlement system that nations have, Gilbert Verdine was literally the buyer. He was the one standing between the government and the tech companies like the IBM and the Oracle. Like these, there's 3 or 4 different major companies that literally bid on these massive contracts, these 10, 15, 20-year contracts. They want to be the ones that are going to get the real-time gross settlement contract to build the RTGS for the country. Gilbert Verdine was the guy that they had to go through. He was the one reviewing their plan and saying, okay, well, what about this? What about that? What about that? Like he was the one that I think it was the UK or England or UK. He was the one literally making.
Treasury.
Huh?
Her Majesty's Treasury. Well, at the time it was Her Majesty. Now it was His Majesty's Treasury. But yes, the HMS.
He was the one. He was the one that was making this. Like he's the one asking the hard questions, and then he's the one deciding which company the government's gonna go with for this RTGS system. Like most people don't realize this. When you're the actual one that people need to bid with, and you're the one asking the hard questions, making sure that system is secure, you're next level. Like you're really next level. Like he was the one calling the shots.
Yeah. And then couple that with the actual RTGS upgrade, having now operating in the realm of distributed ledger technology. Who you going to go with? The person that was already over the compliance and ensuring that this person is okay, this person's not okay, this player is okay. Let's go ahead and let's move them together. So absolutely.
But anyway, I just wanted to put it in there because you mentioned that some people are like, oh, I saw that comment the other day on my channel there. So like, oh well, Quant is not compliant US, it's a security. Nah, nope. No.
Utility token.
If you want, I'll buy your tokens if that's a concern for you. If you want to sell me at a discount, I'll find the money somewhere.
Just send them. Yeah, don't even sell them. If that's the case, just send them.
That's junk. Just send them over.
Yep. Don't even sell them.
No, I'm just being cocky.
I will gladly take your QNT.
Yeah.
Well, guys, that's going to wrap it up. Simply do us a solid if you listen to this entire discussion outline, wherever you want to refer to it, and type in this keyword. Are you ready for it? Into the comments. Drum roll, please. And that is hockey. And we'll know that you listen to the entire outline. On behalf of myself, Channing, and Jesse, know what you have, know why you hold it. Hopefully you do know why you hold it, because the research does trump FUD 110%. Anyway, we will see you guys, obviously, on the next one. Over and out.
See you guys.